Welcome back to the shop and to the channel. I've had my phase converter now for several years. I use it to power currently five different three-phase machines, and I've been, pretty happy with it. It mounts on the wall, and all I got to do is click the start button, and that starts it up. And when I'm done with it and don't need it anymore, all I have to do is hit the stop button, and that shuts it down. Right now, the idler motor, the generator, sits on a shelf here, right underneath where I have the control unit mounted. I would like to mount this outside at some point, only because it doesn't really make that much noise, but when I'm recording video here in the shop, it can kind of be annoying to have that constant hum in the background. I don't really have any complaints per se, but there are some improvements that I've made to it, and one that I would like to make now. If I'm over here at the Bridgeport and I need to turn on the phase converter, I've got to walk over to where the control unit is and turn it on. And that's like 15 feet away, and I have to walk around the machine and some other machines just to get to it.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I say that a bit tongue in cheek, but I figure if I can do it, why not? While I get this thing open, I do have it unplugged, by the way, just for anybody who's wondering. I do want to kind of go on a little bit of a rant here and some issues that I had with the manufacturer of this device. So I bought this thing, like I said, some years ago, and it's just a simple phase converter. There's no bells and whistles in this one that they have in some of their other models. I did not order it with any extras, just the base phase converter. But there's room inside this cabinet to add an outlet and an optional breaker. The outlet's just a standard outlet. There's nothing special about it, and there's really nothing special about any of the breakers that would fit in this cabinet. They're just three-phase surface mount style breakers. I was able to get a outlet from, I don't know if it was from Menards or if I got it online, but I was also able to get a hold of a 15 amp three-phase breaker, which is exactly the size that I want to put in here for the equipment that I have. This is only a 10 horsepower phase converter, so 15 amp seemed perfectly logical. So I called the manufacturer and said, hey, is there anything special about these breakers or anything that I need to be concerned about? Because I've been given a 15 amp breaker and I want to go ahead and install it inside the controller. Well, the guy on the phone, he tells me,
well, you can't do that. You can't install a breaker from just any place. You have to buy that breaker from us for $100.
and I was a bit shocked by that. It's like, well, if it's just a common breaker, what's the deal?
Well, if you don't buy that breaker from us, it's going to void your warranty.
Really? Voiding my warranty by putting in a standard square D breaker, the exact same breaker that you sell on your website for $100, and if I can get it for nothing, you're telling me that it's going to void my warranty, even though I'd still be the same person putting it in?
Yep, it's going to void your warranty. If you buy something from somebody else and you put it in there, your warranty is void.
Well, I guess I'm going to void my warranty because I did that already. I can't really continue without giving y'all the standard disclaimer. I am not an electrician. Do not try this at home. I have no idea what I'm doing. I could kill myself, and if you tried this, you might die too. But I guess it's worth the risk, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. You can see here on the bottom of the control unit where I have that 15 amp breaker, and that comes in handy when I'm doing some wiring and I don't want to shock myself, because even when the phase converter is off, there's still 220 volts on 2 of those legs. So by being able to hit this breaker, or I could unplug it, it kills all power to the downstream circuitry. And then having that extra socket there is useful if I want to plug in a machine in which it's not close to an outlet and I can use my extension cord. I did have to make my own mounts here for the breaker. There's these 2 steel plates down here at the bottom because as it came to me, it didn't have it. But the receptacle just mounted right in, and I've got it tied in to the output of the phase converter. So if I do turn off the breaker, it also kills power to that socket. Just connected with some wire nuts. This is all above board, within code, whatever you want to call it. So I don't see this as being a problem. I've been using it this way for probably about a year now. Well, since my warranty is presumably already voided, I might as well keep going here. These 3 components here are what's connected to the back of the start and stop switches on the front panel. The green one here is the start micro switch, and the red one is the stop. And this is no different than any other way you would wire up a contactor for a 3-phase motor. You've got a normally open start switch and a normally closed stop switch. It latches the contactor. This is pretty simple. To add secondary start and stop switches to a contactor, it's pretty simple. Use similar switches, normally open and normally closed, and you would wire the normally open switch in parallel with the start switch, the original start switch, and you would wire the normally closed switch in series with the stop switch. And as long as you do that, however you do that, it's going to still act as a start and stop. You'll just have 2 of them. So what I have here is just a simple RF remote control, runs off of 220, and it's got 2 relays in it. Either relay can be wired as latching or as momentary, and they can be set up as either normally open or normally closed. I'm going to get started here with this thing by programming the remote here just to make sure that it's working the way it's supposed to be working. I have this 110 volt power cord here not plugged into a socket because this will also run from 90 to 220 volts, so it'll run on of 110 as well. So I'll wire this to these 2 pins here on the side or on the end. These are for the line and the neutral power feeds. With it plugged in now, I can test one of these remotes, and I can hear it clicking. Now when I push it the second time, it sounds like the click is a little different. It sounds like this might be currently programmed in a latching mode. So let me get my voltmeter and we'll check that out. Well, I have the ohm meter set here on continuity. So if I bridge over one of the commons and one of the outputs, I should be able to test it. Yeah, and sure enough, it looks like when I hit the button once, it closes the relay, and when I hit it a second time, it opens it. And that's not what I want. I actually only want this to operate in a momentary operation, which means it only closes the relay for as long as I have my finger on the button. No different than that start stop button that's on the front of the controller. The instructions are pretty simple. I need to click this button here 8 times, and that should wipe out any memory of what the remotes do. And then if I click it once and then push one of the buttons on the remote, and then 3 seconds later push the other button, that puts it in momentary. So now when I hold down the button, it latches the relay, but when I let it go, it releases it. I need to do the same thing to the other remote. I'll double check this using the ohm meter. Okay, that's perfect. Let me unplug this. I'll disconnect this 110 power cord, and we'll see what we need to do to get it mounted into the controller. Well, I'm not going to go over and show every single step of this, but as I mentioned early on in the video, to connect this up to a second set of switches, I just need to wire in this green switch, which is set in a normally open state, which means that the connection between the two pins is open. They're not connected unless you push the button. And I just need to wire this in parallel with the relay. And I'll wire this up so one side goes to the common node on the relay and the other side goes to the normally open side of the relay. And for the stop button, the red one here, all I need to do is wire in the relay in the normally closed configuration, which means that the common and that terminal are connected. And I want to wire that in series with this red switch so that that circuit is completed through both the relay and the switch. I did a video that I'll try to put it here up in the upper right a while ago on how you wire in a contactor for a three-phase machine. It's a little more complicated than what is going on in here, but the principles are the same, and it kind of explains why you have a normally open for the start and a normally closed for the stop. I put some 3M VHB tape on the back of the wireless remote and stick it up here to the top of the case. It's not going anywhere. That 3M tape is almost impossible to pull off once you get it stuck. I used some zip ties to clean up the control wire circuitry, and now I just have this black and red wire which will go to the line voltage. I just need to tie that into the breaker. Well, with all this now buttoned up, I'll go ahead and put the cover back on and we'll give it a try. I have this all buttoned back up together. We'll test the front control buttons. Those work as I would expect them to, start and stop. Now I just need to test the wireless remote. If I push the A button, it should start it. And it does. And if I push the B, it should turn it off. Did I need to do this? No. Did I want to? Yeah, I did. Why not? It was just a little fun little exercise. I came across that wireless remote on Amazon and figured, what the heck? Why not? I can do it. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. And so I might have avoided my warranty just a little bit more than it was before. Like I said, I am not an electrician, so I don't recommend you do this on your phase converter, but get out there and avoid some warranties anyway. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I do appreciate you hanging out with me in my shop while I do some crazy things. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.